Everyone, it's me Bailey and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a cramming vlog. So there is 5 days left in the month, and in today's video I'm going to essentially try and read as much as I can in the next 5 days. My goal is low-key going to be 5 books in 5 days, so we will see if that ends up working out. I don't know if I'll be able to do that because when I get home today I need to finish editing a video, and then also too I am going to a concert a little bit later in the week, so we're gonna see how this works out. But I did pick out a little TBR, and this is subject to change because I am very much hoping to mood read, and that is how I feel like I will be able to get these 5 books read. And so we're gonna go ahead and get on into the TBR since I do have to leave for work here in the next minute. So first up we've got Corrupted Chaos by Cheyenne Rose, and this is I want to say this is like a dark adjacent romance, or like a romance with darker themes, but isn't exactly a dark romance. And I think this is like employee boss, and they work for like a cybersecurity type firm, and they go on like a company retreat and they end up falling in love. And I think obviously, of course, with them being in cybersecurity, I think the boss does like, you know, a little bit of like nefarious things. So we'll see if I can get to this one, but I am excited to get into this. Next, we've got The Friendship Fling by Georgia Stone, and this is a romance book, and this follows Ava, and she is a barista in a London coffee shop. And then we're also following Finn, and he comes in with a proposal that they do a mutually beneficial friends-only summer fling. So this sounds really fun, so I'm super excited to read this, and this is very summery, seems like, so I am hoping to get to this one as well. I feel like this would be really good to kind of like start to close out the summer reading. Next, we've got Twisted Pawn by LJ Shin, and this is a dark romance. This is the second book in the Society of Villains series. I read book 1 a few months ago and really enjoyed it, so I've been wanting to get back into book 2. This has been on my mind recently, so I'm hoping to potentially get to this week as well. Then we've got Restore Me by J.L. Seegers, and I keep seeing this book over and over and over, and it keeps like calling to me, and every time I like put this book away, like something reminds me of it and it makes me want to pick it up again. So I'm hoping to get to this one this week. This one is a bit chunkier, so we'll see, but I do really want to pick this up. I've heard really good things about it, so this is on the TBR for this week as well. And then finally, the book that I think I'm going to start with is going to be Conform by Ariel Sullivan, and this is a dystopian romance, and this book also has been really calling to me recently, so I'm feeling like this is one that I'll probably end up starting with. I have had the ebook of this checked out from my library for literally the longest time, and so I am excited to finally get to this, and so I'm hoping that I'm going to enjoy it. I've heard pretty good things about this book, so yeah, this is the book that I'm going to be starting with, and I'm gonna get going because I do need to head to work. But I thought I'd give my intro and kind of give a look into what the TBR is looking like for the week. Like I mentioned, this is subject to change just because I am very much wanting to mood read, and that is how I will be able to read 5 books in 5 days if that is like the goal. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and head off to work, and I will more than likely talk to you when I get home. I am home from work, and I do have a reading update as well as a package to unbox, so let's go ahead and get on into it. So as far as my reading update, I have been reading Conform today, and I'm making pretty good progress in it. I am currently on chapter 17, which is page 176, so just under halfway into the book, and so far I'm really enjoying this. This is basically like a more urban Handmaid's Tale in a sense, in the fact that the women are essentially made to be bred essentially, and they're trying to like make the perfect species of like human essentially. And so our main character, Emmeline, is forced, well, not necessarily forced because it's like the way of society, but she has been selected for a procreation contract, and so she ends up going to Elite, where she meets Colin, who is a level above the Elite. He's like a part of like the head group of like people who make the rules. And so she ends up in this procreation contract with him where she's essentially supposed to have his babies essentially. But if she cannot produce a elite heir, then she will be sent down a level. Look, okay, so it's like a caste system. And so she will be no longer known as a minor defect, but a major defect. And so then she becomes like lower in society than she was previously. So it's obviously not a very good thing for someone to be considered a major defect. And so she's essentially trying to avoid that. But then comes the third person in the love triangle that is forming, and that is going to be Hal. And he is a major defect, and he ends up popping up one day while Emmeline is at work, and they start kind of talking and chit-chatting and things about just her job, and he's just trying to essentially get to know her. And of course there is like some sort of rebellion that is happening where the lower class is starting to rebel against the elite. So far, I don't know. I feel like I don't know who she's gonna end up with at this point. I feel like at this moment in time, I am not really rooting for any of them, but I feel like if I had to pick, I would probably pick Colin at this point. But I don't know. Obviously, Hal is like the rebel, but I just feel like something's up with him. I feel like something's kind of fishy, and I don't really believe his like intentions. So I don't really know where we're gonna go there, but I am really enjoying it so far. It is a little bit later in the evening. It's currently 7 p.m. I was hoping to take Navy on a walk this afternoon, but it is so incredibly hot outside. We might be able to maybe like in another like 30 minutes or so, but we're under a heat advisory right now, and it is like 90 degrees outside, but it feels like 102. And so obviously I don't really want to be walking him around out there with the ground being so hot because it's been so hot outside. So we might go out in the backyard. We were out in the backyard a little bit where I was like running the hose with him, so that way he can like kind of chase the hose a little bit. And I did of course let him catch the hose, but we did do a little bit of running around that way, and I might go out there and like throw the ball with him just a little bit, but I think it's just a little bit too hot outside for him to comfortably go for a walk. But as far as Conform, I know that was like so off topic, but like I am really enjoying it and hoping to continue and potentially finish this tonight. I don't know. I don't really see myself finishing this tonight, but I don't know, because if I don't finish this tonight, then tomorrow, once I do finish it, I'll probably pick a shorter book to try and kind of help me with my like whole 5 books in 5 days situation that I'm trying to get going on here. So there's that. But then now we're going to talk about my book unboxing. So I know what this is. I ordered this the other day after my 24-hour readathon, and so this is the second book in the series, and that is Spiral by Balcabra. This is the second book in the Dalton U series, and I read Collide in my 24-hour readathon like a week ago, and I really enjoyed it, so I did decide to pick a book. I am having a really good time reading this series, so I did to the next book, and I'm super excited to read this one, and hopefully I will get to it soon. Part of me wants to kind of put on this TBR for the week, but I don't really know if I'll be able to get to it, so we'll see. But thought I'd give that update really quickly, let you know where I got into Conform and how I was enjoying it. Like I mentioned, I am hoping to continue reading some of this tonight. I'm hoping to get a pretty good chunk of it in. I still need to eat dinner and things, so I have a little bit of time to do some reading. So I will update you again probably once I have more updates on Conform. It's day 2. We're starting off not great because I didn't finish Conform yesterday, but I have done some reading in this today. I made some progress. I am about like 70 something% of the way into the book, So I am making progress. I'm hoping to finish this tonight. I was hoping to finish this today at work, but work was being extra worky today, so I didn't have a lot of time to listen to my audiobook, but I was able to listen to some of it. So there's that at least, which is good. But I still am really enjoying Conform, and I definitely see myself finishing this tonight. But it is also Tuesday, which means that it is new release Tuesday, and I might have gone a little crazy on this new release Tuesday. So we've got quite a few packages to unbox, so let's get into it. I did not realize how many books I had ordered for this new release Tuesday. So there's a lot here. In this first box, we've got Tattletale by Kay Cove. This is the second book in the Paladin series. And now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like I might have ordered this book twice. So I'll have to double check on that. But I definitely did not think that I'd ordered this one from Barnes & Noble. So I don't know. But this is the first book. I read Whistleblower and really enjoyed it. So I wanted to pick up the second book in the series, so I'm super excited to get into this. This next one is from Amazon, and this is Just for the Plot by Megan Quinn, and this is the second book in the Bay Area Players, and this is going to be a trilogy. This is book 2, and I love this cover. I think it's so cute, and I cannot wait to pick this one up. This one is following Bennett and Bauer, who is his sister's best friend. So super excited to get into this. I feel like I will probably pick this one up here soon. Next, we've got another one from Barnes & Noble. And this one is, we've got The Dare by Harley LaRoe, and this is the novella of the night that they keep referencing in Losers, and so this is what happened that night. And so I'm excited to get into this because I want to know what happened that night, because they kept talking about it, but like obviously they didn't share with us what happened that night. So this is that. This next one is from Barnes & Noble as well, and this is Tattletale again. So it looks like I did accidentally order this one twice, so I will have to take one of these back. Don't tell me I ordered it 3 times, because that would be kind of crazy, because I could have sworn I did not order it from Barnes & Noble, but we'll see. I think I know what this one potentially is, and this one's not a new release, or at least it shouldn't be anyway. Okay, yeah, so this is A Heart So Fierce and Broken by Bridget Kimmerer. This is the second book in the A Curse So Dark and Lonely series. I just finished book 1 the other day and really liked it, so I wanted to continue into book 2. So I'm super excited to get into this. But yeah, so these are my little book haul for New Release Tuesday, and I absolutely will need to take one of these Barnes & Noble, one of these Tattletales back, because I did not mean to order 2 of them. So that is my little book haul for today. I'm gonna have to go outside and put all these boxes in the recycling bin. So I think I'm gonna go run and do that really quickly, and then I will do some more reading. Navy and I did end up going walking last night. We waited until closer to like 7:15-ish. And that was a lot better because it was a lot cooler at that point. So we might see if we go again at that time today, because again, it is so hot outside. So I don't know if we'll be able to go like here soon, but if we are gonna go, it's definitely gonna have to be a little bit later. So until then, I think I'm gonna do some reading and start a return potentially on Tattletale, or I might just wait until I go to work tomorrow and just take it back to the Barnes & Noble. So I need to make sure that I grab like the little receipt thing that it came with. So anyways, that is my update for now. My camera needs to charge, so I'm gonna let it do that, and I'm gonna go read, and I will talk to you again probably once I finished Conform. I just finished Conform. I think I'm giving this book 4 stars. So this book was good, and I feel like it was also like very frustrating at the same time. Like part of me is like, why was Emmeline acting like this. And like, I get it, it's like her naivete because she doesn't really know any other way, but like, I feel like the Ilium are like so like beyond what the rebels like are. Like, I don't know, but then I have like a few theories about like what's going on and like who is who and like how certain characters play into certain other like roles and things. And I must say, like, Hal, not the love interest for me, not the one that I'm rooting for. Like, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm rooting for Colin. Like, I feel like Colin low-key has like an ulterior motive, like, but not in like a bad or like nefarious way. Like, I think that he's like secretly a good guy, and like he is really only a part of the Ilium because he has to be, and like because he knows that's the only way that he can make change happen. I don't know, but I really enjoyed this. I will say Emmeline did kind of get on my nerves just a tiny bit with like her actions and the whole situation with Hal. Like, I feel like her moving the way that she did with Hal really irked me, and I wish she would have found that envelope a little bit sooner, because I feel like it would have made her do some things a little bit differently. But I'm definitely intrigued to see where the next book goes, where we're going from here, like what's gonna happen. So I'm hoping that book 2 comes out sooner rather than later, because I need to know like where we're going. Like, this was so good, and if people are saying that Beneath is better, then I cannot wait to read that, because this I feel like was really, really good. And I definitely feel like it was like a solid dystopian book, and I'm glad that I picked it up. And that helps with where we're going for our like 5 books in 5 days essentially thing that we're trying to do. So now that I'm finished with Conform, the next book that I'm going to be picking up is The Friendship Fling by Georgia Stone, and this is a romance book. And I feel like I tend to fly through contemporary romances like pretty quickly, and so this book is less than 370 pages. So I want to say this is like one of the shorter books on this TBR, so this is what I'm going to be picking up next. This book has been calling to me for the past few weeks, so I'm excited to get into this. And so yeah, this is the next book that I'm going to pick up. So let's get into The Friendship Fling. I'm getting ready to eat lunch and then start getting ready to leave so we can go get dinner and go to the concert, which the concert is like an hour and a half from where I live, so we'll have to leave to go. I think it starts like 7:30 or something, so we're gonna leave here around like 3, so that's in like a couple hours, and we're gonna go eat dinner and then go. But I did have a little bit of a reading update. I also have some things to talk about here as well in the package sort of sphere of things. So my reading update is not a large one. So I'm currently on page 56 in The Friendship Fling. I started this last night while on sprints with Manu, Ken, and Court. And so I did end up starting this, and I'm currently on chapter 9. So I have done a little bit of reading in this today, but definitely not as much as I would have liked. So I will potentially be trying to read some more of this. I do have the audiobook, so I'm thinking while I eat lunch and things, I'll probably listen to the audiobook, but I am very sleepy because it's so hot outside. So I'm feeling like I probably need to try and take a nap. So we'll see how much reading I actually get done. But I definitely do want to lay down. And so my 2 package sort of things, which, okay, this isn't really a package. This is just my annual membership tote bag from Barnes & Noble, because as we talked about, I went into Barnes & Noble to return Tattletale because I accidentally pre-ordered 2 copies. And so I asked if I could just do an exchange if they had the book that I was looking for in there, and they did. They literally only had 1 copy. So I ended up picking up Unsteady by Peyton Corin, and this is in the new covers that have like the illustrated covers that are a little bit different than like the original covers. And I'd been waiting for these, so I ended up picking this one up, and then they ended up owing me 99 cents. So free book, and I got money back, so period. Love that. So I am super excited to read this. I've heard really amazing things about this series, so I cannot wait to get into this. So there's that. And then this year I did get the gray tote bag. I was gonna get the burgundy one, but then I saw that they had this gray one and I knew that I needed it, so I grabbed this. And then my other thing is a package, which also this wrapping paper is so cute. Like this poly mailer is so cute. And so this is from Fancy, which is a boutique. They sell like boutique clothes as well as like activewear. And so they recently did like a Nantucket style drop, and like the whole theme was like this like blue, pinks, greens, like fun colors with like the sailboats. And so I ordered 2 things from this shop. I ordered one thing that's here now, and then the other thing was like a pre-order, so I am still waiting on that. And so the thing that I got is a mock neck, which I know you guys are probably like, girl, don't you have enough mock necks? But I feel like you can never have too many sweatshirts. Like, it is one of my like favorite things to collect. Plus I feel like sweatshirts, I love the look of like a vintage sweatshirt, and so I feel like all of my sweatshirts will eventually be vintage, if that makes sense. I don't know, but anyways, so I ended up getting this. It's like a white creamy kind of color. It definitely looks a little bit more cream in person, but it is like a white sort of cream. And so this is what it looks like. So it says Fancy on it, and then it's got like the sailboats, which is so cute. I love the colors. I'm obsessed with the colors. And it says Lifestyle and Clothing Co. established in 2020. And so I got this cute little mock neck. They did have a gray one. The gray one had like a fold over like neck, and I didn't know how I was gonna feel about that, so I decided to grab this one instead. And then too, I feel like if something happens to this one, like if there's any stains or anything on it, since it is white, I should be able to like get it out with a little bit of bleach, hopefully. So yeah, got this. And then it also has like the cute little like patch on the inside, which is honestly so stinking cute. And so yeah, super excited to have this. Cannot wait to wear it. I'm definitely not wearing it today because it's literally a million degrees outside. But yeah, so I am going to potentially try and do some reading while I eat lunch. I'm gonna see if I can take a nap. I still need to get ready to leave and everything like that. So that's it for this little bit of an update. I will probably talk to you guys tomorrow because I doubt that I'll update again, but I'll probably have some like footage from the concert and stuff. So I will talk to you probably tomorrow. It's now the next day, of course. Went to see Chris Brown and Usher last night, and it was so fun. It was so good. They're such great performers. Like, it was literally insane. Like, being there, like, that was literally insane. Oh my gosh. But I did not do any more reading. So that's my plan for today, is to do some more reading. Obviously, we're on day 4 of 5 books in 5 days, and I'm still on day 2. So I need to pick it up. So Navy is still at boarding / daycare today, so I do have the house to myself. So my plan is to literally binge read as much as I can and basically treat it like it's like a 24-hour readathon and or like a 12-hour readathon until it's time for me to go and pick him up. I have made my coffee in preparation of attempting to read as much as I can. So I have not made any progress in this at all. I'm still on page 56 like I was yesterday, the last time I updated. So no updates on that, but I do essentially want to read this entire book. book and potentially another one today. We'll see how things go, but I'm still trying to make my goal of 5 books in 5 days happen. So I think between today and tomorrow, I can potentially get it together. So we'll see. It might be a complete fail. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm going to try my absolute darndest. So getting back into the friendship fling, I'll update once I maybe am potentially about halfway in if I decide anything about how I'm feeling about this. So we will absolutely see how I'm feeling about this when I get about 50% in. Don't really have any thoughts as of right now. We're still really in the setup of the book. So all I really know is we're following Ava, and she is a barista at a coffee shop, and we're following Finn, and it seems like he is like a graphic designer of some sort. I'm not really sure what his job is, but he is in London currently, and he goes into Ava's coffee shop where she works, and he has this list of things that he wants to do while he's in London, and one of those things is to become a regular. So he has decided to become a regular at Ava's coffee shop, and Ava's roommate actually is like, hey, we're gonna have a party, you need to invite someone. And Ava's like, oh, I met this new friend Finn, and her and Finn are not like actually friends, and she's like, I have this new friend from work called Finn, and the roommate's like, all right, invite him. And so she starts ignoring the fact that there's a party, and one day the roommate comes in and is like, is Finn in the coffee shop? And he was, and the roommate ends up inviting Finn to the party. And so that's kind of where we're at. They're starting this like friendship sort of thing, because she did just run into him at a bar when she was on a date, and the date went horribly, and so they're doing the first thing on the bucket list. So we'll see how things continue to go. I'm doing it for the most part so far, so we'll continue to see. I'm hoping that this will be something that I really enjoy. So with that, I'm gonna get to reading, and I'll talk to you later, hopefully maybe around 50%. We'll see, but I will talk to you once I've got more thoughts on the friendship fling. Finished the Friendship Fling by Georgia Stone, and I'm rating this book 3 stars. So I thought this book was fine. I think this was a debut novel, and for a debut I feel like it was good. I definitely want to read the other book by Georgia Stone, The Roommate Risk or something like that, by Georgia Stone, and it actually follows Ava's brother Max and her like coworker. I think her name was Drew, I believe, something like that. But so this, we're following Ava and Finn, and I really liked Finn. I thought he was so just like sweet and kind and just so sunshiny, and obviously Ava was a bit more of like a black cat sort of situation. And I don't know, I feel like I didn't really love this book. Like I thought it was fine, like, but I'm not like super crazy over it. It felt like every other romance I've ever read. I don't know, like it just, I don't really feel like there was anything in this book that really stood apart from any of the other romances that I've read. I thought it was fine. It was fun. It was a good time. It was definitely like a summary type read in, well, where we're following our main characters through London as they're like essentially trying to check off Finn's bucket list of things that he wants to do while he's in the city. And so like, I mean, it was a good time. I think I would definitely recommend it. I will say it did feel a little bit more like literary leaning, and maybe that's just because it was a slow burn, and so it just felt like we were just following the characters more than we were really following the romance. And we did definitely talk about Finn's like definitely his daddy issues, but he definitely had like mommy issues as well, and so we did kind of get some of that. I don't really know if that was like super resolved. I mean, it kind of was, like, you know, they talked about how he was like dealing with it going forward, but I don't know, I just thought it was fine. Like, no real critiques on it. I just didn't love it. I didn't hate it. Like, it just felt very middle of the road to me. So 3 stars to this. But I am getting ready to leave to go pick up Navy here in like as soon as I get done talking to you. But I did want to let you know that I did pick the book that I will be starting next, and I feel like this one is one that I feel like I could potentially fly through. So I feel like I could also finish this today, and that is Corrupted Chaos by Cheyenne Rose. And this is about Cade and I think her name is Emmy, maybe Izzy. So we're following Cade and Izzy, and they work at this, I think it's like cybersecurity type company, and like Cade is like the boss, and it's like a workplace romance. I think they go on a company retreat and like they fall in love, but he is like a hacker, and I think it is like dark adjacent romance. Like it might not be a dark romance, but it might have darker themes. I'm not sure. The original cover has like a man on it, which is giving sort of like dark romance, mafia style type, or like hacker type style vibes. So we'll see if it's actually like dark or not, but I am excited to get into this. So this is what I will be picking up next. I did see that the audiobook for this is on Hoopla, so I will start listening to this in the car while I'm on the way to pick up Navy. I'm about to go do that right now. I'm gonna go get some shoes because I want to leave before the after work traffic gets really bad. So I will probably talk to you once I get home. I went and picked up Navy, so he is now home. Here he's coming to say hi. So Navy is now home, and I do have a little bit of a reading update for Corrupted Chaos, and so far this is so fun. I feel like I'm going to really like this. I feel like this is about to be so bingeable. Like I feel like I'm probably going to sit here and read this in one sitting because it's so fun so far. I'm on chapter 3, which is page 46. So that's how much I was able to listen to in the car on the way to get Navy and on the way home. And so far we're following Izzy, and she has this boyfriend, and he has just broken up with her, and she's at this corporate party for her boss, essentially. Like his name is Cade, and I feel like he has like underlying motives. He is essentially coming off as like he doesn't like her, but I feel like there's something else going on. But she very much does not like him because she feels like he has essentially upended her life because she had this government job that she was really liking, working for the cybersecurity division of the government, which she had been working undercover but then decided to change. And Cade had her like whole team reassigned to a company under his because essentially the government is so corrupt. And this book that Cade's family is in cahoots with the government and is essentially running the government behind closed doors. And it's very like mafia-esque. And so Cade has had her reassigned, and now he is technically her boss. And he, like, you can just tell he's obsessed with her. And like now that her boyfriend has broken up with her, she's a single woman, and I feel like he is going to make his move. But so far it's so fun. I'm enjoying it. This has been on my radar for a while. I feel like I had shelved this potentially as like want to read maybe at one point, and maybe it's like on my Kindle or something that I've like had this for a while. But like I definitely feel like I remember seeing the male version of this cover, and I feel like I've heard of this before. I don't know, but I am having a really good time because I did end up grabbing this from that giveaway that I won from Page and Vine, and this has obviously been picked up by a traditional publisher, but I want to say that this started out indie, and I'm having a really good time reading this so far. But I did also have 2 packages as well, one from Amazon and one from Barnes & Noble. One of these is a new release book, and the other one is a book from Amazon that is indie, and I could only find it on Amazon. So let's start with the Barnes & Noble. This should be my new release of Daybreak, and of course I would pull the tab out. Yes, okay, so this is my copy of Daybreak by Autumn Woods. This is the second book in the Sorrow Song University, and I think this might be a duet or a duology. I am unsure, but I liked book 1 enough to want to read book 2, so I'm thinking I might end up picking this up here soon. But I definitely thought that this was a fantasy, and it's not. It's a dark romance, which is still kind of wild to me because like this book and like the other book definitely gives like fantasy vibes based on the cover. But anyway, so that's this one. And then this book is so thick. Like this is way thicker than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, like she's chunky. So this is Tell Me I'm Not the Villain by Faith Pinkay, and she's thick. But I saw this book on TikTok and the author was talking about it, and so I decided to pick it up. It looked like it was good. It sounded like it was good, and I've heard that it is heartbreaking. So also too, they have another cover, but I think this is like a special edition cover or something like that, and I prefer this cover over the regular cover, so this is the one that I decided to pick up. So I'm excited to try this book and hopefully I'm going to like it. But this is a very, very long book. This is following Lydia and Bash, and at 15 Lydia meets the boy that she thinks is the one, only for things to turn dark and toxic fast, cutting her off from her friends, family, and anyone who can save her. When a traumatic breakup leaves Lydia a broken version of herself, all she has to look forward to is running away to college, but college only brings easy escapes and trouble into her life. She loses herself to parties, pills, bottles, and bodies, pushing the only close people in her life away, leading her down a dangerous and destructive path. Bash is a boy with his own past, his own ghosts, and his own guilt he carries. After losing his sister, he copes in similar ways to Lydia. The only difference is Bash has found a way out. Now he's thrown into Lydia's chaotic orbit, trying to show her what love looks like when it's safe. Not perfect, but safe. And so this sounds like it is probably going to be devastating, and I'm excited to read it. Also too, I think there is another book by this author, and I think it might follow Lydia's best friend, Simone. So those are my two book mail, and I'm going to get back to reading Corrupted Chaos because I am so into this. Talk to you once I have another update on Corrupted Chaos. I finished Corrupted Chaos by, okay, I don't know if it's Shane or Cheyenne. Maybe it's Shane. I don't know. By Shane Rose. I guess that's the pronunciation. Anyway, so I finished this. This was so fun. I'm giving it 4 stars. I thought it was such a fun time. This, yeah, was literally so fun. Oh my gosh. Like so I will say this is a great introduction into dark romance. It was not very dark, but it definitely had dark element, and Navy is kicking me because I'm talking and he's trying to sleep. But it did have dark elements in it, like our main male character is like former ties to the mob, and there are like some nefarious things kind of going on. There was a kidnapping that happened, so like there are like darker themes in it, but it wasn't like super dark. But I definitely enjoyed this, and if you're looking to get into dark romance, I would definitely recommend it. This book was pretty spicy. There was quite a lot of spicy scenes, but I mean overall, like the book was just so fun. I will say I do feel like I read it in the wrong order because there is no numbers on the sides of the book, and it's like everywhere that I looked to see what order I should read the books in, it was all different. So I didn't know like what order to read them in. But like when I got to the back of the book and it had the list of the other titles by this author, we have, so this is the Tarnished Empire series, and so we have, it's in order of Shattered Vows, Fractured Freedom, and then Corrupted Chaos, so this one being third. Which the more that I was reading it, I was like, there's no way that this is the first book in this series, because the couples in the other 2 books are already like together and married with kids in this one. So I was like, okay, because when I started the prologue, we were talking about her twin sister and how her twin sister had gotten kidnapped, but she's now married to Dante. And I was like, wait a minute, I feel like I remember that being one of the other books, that like that Dante was like the main character. So like, is this like, are things out of order? Like I was confused. And so then that's when I Googled and I was like, what order should I read these books in? And it said, oh, Corrupted Chaos is first. And I was like, okay. And then I like tried going to the author's Instagram, but I like didn't have time to like search through that like really quickly, because you know, I had to leave the house to go pick up Navy and stuff like that. And I wanted to start something on the drive. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna try, you know, this one and see. It said, Google said that this was the one to start with. It said publication order was the way to go. It said this one was published first. I don't know, but apparently this one was the third one. And I hate that for me because I have been traumatized by not reading series in order, and I hate spoilers for the most part. So I hate that I did not read the series in order, which granted, I will say, like, it isn't like spoilery in the fact that like there's like major spoilers, but I feel like there's things that were mentioned that are probably major plot points in the other books, like the death of somebody, like a kidnapping, like that kind of thing. And so I don't know, but I don't feel like that hindered the reading experience of this. Like, I still had a really good time and would definitely recommend it, but I definitely think potentially, if I had to guess, I'm gonna say that Shattered Vows might be first, which, cause let me look and see, cause Fractured Freedom, Shattered Vows, cause Shattered Vows is Sebastian, which is Cade's brother. Yeah, I don't know, friends, I don't know. But then it feels like part of me is like, maybe I should read Fractured Freedom first. I don't know, friends. Maybe I'll report back later in another vlog, like when I get done reading the series. So make sure you subscribe, because I'm sure I'll probably read the other two books in vlogs in the future. And so obviously this is something that I'm going to be thinking about. So I'll let you guys know what order to read them in, because clearly don't start. I mean, you can start with this one. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but if you're looking to read them in order, I would not start with this one. But anyways, now that I'm done with this, I don't know what I'm going to pick up next, because we're now 3 books in, but we're on day 4 out of day 5, and day 4 is almost over because I'm getting ready to go to bed. So I might have time to read 2 books tomorrow. We'll see. Navy has to go to the groomer tomorrow, so we will have to get up early to do that. But I'm hoping to do reading tomorrow. I'm hoping I can read 2 books tomorrow. I might have to do shorter ones, because the last 2 that I had picked out for the TBR that I had at the beginning of this video are a bit chunkier and a bit longer. So I'm probably gonna look through my shelves and see if there's anything that's like speaking to me that I want to pick up that might be a little bit on the shorter side. But of course I will let you guys know, and I'll probably talk to you in the morning once I've decided what book I'm gonna pick up. I have taken Navy to the groomer, and I just finished filming a video. So now I am going to do some reading, and I think I have picked the books that I want to try and focus on today. So obviously, like, I'm holding them up and like low-key showing you, so you can probably guess what they are. But so I know I said last night that I was going to try and see if I could find a couple of shorter books. And I feel like me saying that is only because of Restore Me. And I fear that I want to read that book, but I'm also a little intimidated by that book. So I'm sort of sticking to the TBR, but also not at the same time. So for my 2 picks that I'm going to try and get to today, one of them is a reread and one of them is not. So reread, play along. I have been wanting to reread this for a while, but this is a 5-star book for me, and I'm scared of rereading it because I have this fear that it won't be a 5-star book anymore. But also too, I'm in desperate need of a 5-star. I've literally only had 2 5-star books this year, and it is almost August. Like, it's literally August tomorrow, so kind of wild if you ask me. But this is on the TBR potentially today. And then the other book that I would like to get to is Twisted Pawn by LJ Shen. This is the 2nd book in the Society of Villains series. And after reading Corrupted Chaos, I feel like I'm in kind of a dark romance mood. So I'm feeling like this is the one that I'm probably going to start with, and hopefully I can finish this one. It is a little bit on the longer side because it is over 450 pages, and this one is a little bit shorter than that, which it's still like just over 360 pages. So I don't know. I feel like these are the 2 that I'm going to try and get to today. I think I will start with Twisted Pawn, and I'm going to go ahead and get to reading. I don't have to go pick up Navy until probably closer to around 3 and it's like 9:30 right now, so I have quite a bit of time to read. So I think I'm going to start with Twisted Pawn. It's quite a bit later now and I just finished Twisted Pawn. So I was so sucked into this book. This book literally like had me hooked. I will say I do still think that I like book 1 just a tiny bit better. I feel like that book had me more sucked in than this one. This one was still really good. I'm rating it 4 stars. I feel like it was exactly what I was in the mood for. I feel like I might be switching back into my dark romance era again. I don't know. I feel like I've just been like hyper fixating on like a certain subgenre like every few months, and I feel like dark romance is having its time again, but we will see. I did really enjoyed this. I liked Tierney and Achilles' story. I will say it was a little bit different than I had expected. For some reason, I don't know why I wasn't expecting it to be like flashbacks, which it makes sense because it's a second chance romance, because they like dated when they were younger and then obviously broke up, and then now they end up back together since the romance between them as adults. And I feel like I don't really remember them having so much emphasis on Achilles' face like in the first book, but maybe they did and I just don't remember. But we find out what happened with that and all of that. But I don't know, I thought it was really good. Definitely will be reading the next book in the series when it comes out. I think it comes out in September. And I want to say it is male and it follows Achilles' brother Luca, I think, and the FBI agent that wants to put them all in jail. So I will be sat for that and I'm excited to read that when it does come out. But now that it is like literally 10 p.m. I have 2 hours left, so I don't have time to read play along. So I'm going to read Heartstopper in order to make my 5 books in 5 days goal. So I think I can finish this in the next like 2 hours before I go to bed and before the day ends and it becomes a new month. So this is what I will be picking up next. I have actually read Heartstopper, but I have not read the whole series. So I think I've read up to book 3. I only own book 1, but I did read books 1 through 3 when they were coming out and they were still like digital books. They weren't like physical books yet, or I think only book 1 had been like a physical book. So I wanted to reread the series, especially now that the last book is out and the series is complete. So yeah, this is what I will be reading next. This will be a reread, but this will be the first time that I'm reading like the physical book. I have had this for years. Like the spine on it is so faded from like the sun, and it's like low-key kind of like sun bleached a little bit, but that's okay. I'm going to start it now, and then I'll probably will end up ordering the rest of the books in the series because I do remember really liking this when I read it. So I'm excited to get back into it, and I'm going to read this before the day/month is over. Heartstopper. It literally took me like 30 minutes to finish it, but I think my 5-star rating stands. This is just so cute, and I definitely will be continuing the series because yeah, I'm gonna order the next book so I can keep collecting the books in the series. But this was so cute and I think my 5-star stands. Like, I don't know, this is just so sweet. And I haven't actually watched the show, and I think I was hesitant to watch the show just because I had not finished all of the books and I didn't know how different it would be from book to show. So I think I will probably finish reading all of the books and then watch the show later, and especially now with like the movie and stuff coming out, I don't really want to spoil myself for anything that happens later in the series. But this was so cute. 5 stars, so good. Definitely going to be continuing. So super excited to have read this, and so that officially makes my 5 books in 5 days. It was a little rocky, it was a little shaky, didn't really know if we were gonna make it there for a minute, and we barely made it, and only because we had to do a switch up here at the end. But overall, had a good time. Wish I had a little bit more time this week to read more. I thought I was gonna get more reading done this week than I did, but unfortunately it just didn't work out that way, especially with work being what it was and me going to a concert in the middle of the week, which obviously is not a normal thing that I do. So I don't know. Overall, I feel like it was still a pretty good week. Hit my 5 books in 5 days goal, so that's always a win. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content from me. I'll have all of my social media linked in the description. If you made it to this point in the video, leave the pawn emoji. It is a chess piece for twisted pawn, since there is a pawn on the edges, to let me know that you made it to this point in the video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.